My name is Sheridan Quinn. I work for a a company called Devine Construction. We have 3 employees in the company at the moment. 2 of them are from Ukraine. We do general building works, extensions, roofs, first fixing and that. The 2 lads we've working for us at the moment will be semi-skilled with us, but there is barriers in place. There's barriers that we can't get them to progress with us within the company. There's more refugees in the sector than ever, but it's the language barrier that's causing the problem. Especially the Ukrainians, they're coming in with poor English, and there will be a need that to be basic English classes put in place for them to progress. For example, like the mandatory training such as Safe Pass and manual handle, you have to get an interpreter under the SOLAS guidelines to make sure that they're able to fully understand the course and pass the course at the end of the day. So there need to be more money put in by the government, that there's more interpreters is one thing, and number 2, more basic English.
In your experience, do you know what trades refugees work in the construction sector?
Well, it's basically labouring they're working in at the moment, and like carpentry, that's where we can see a lot of them don't have tickets either for dumper drivers or digger drivers and that, so they can only do basic labouring at the moment. But there is a huge opening there for ticketed drivers that they could come in and use dumper trucks and diggers and that would badly be needed. There's an awful shortage there.
How would you see the participation of refugees in the construction sector? And what I mean by that is in terms of access, in terms of job stability, wages, and equal treatment.
The biggest barrier is the language, Darren. That's a massive one there, because they may have basic English, but they don't understand. If you go, to show them what to do and what you need done, they don't understand. So we'd say in the Ukrainian community that there need to be an awful lot more emphasis on basic English language training, even on the evening after work, to get them up to speed. That from a safety point of view as well, you see, they will be coming from a background where there wouldn't be much safety. Like in Ireland, there'll be an awful lot more emphasis on safety. So I think training and education is a big thing, Darren, and you'd see an awful lot more equality then when it comes to wages, because at the moment you can't pay them the same amount because they don't know the same things. They probably do in their own country, but not here.
Do you think there are more specific professions that refugees choose or are drawn to specifically because they are refugees?
I think they're going, say, for the labouring jobs because they don't have to do courses. If they get past the basic courses, they feel they're safe. And I think they're taking probably the easy way out because a lot of them are very skilled. And if they took advantage of upskill, especially in health and safety and in the language side of things, they would be able to progress because some of their qualifications are non-transferable from their own country to here. So they need to do refresher courses or kind of a building block course, you know what I mean, to progress their qualification, to bring it up to our standards. And that's what the government need to look at, is why we're falling in between 2 stools. Is that the reason is that the qualifications are non-transferable is number 1. Training and education is number 2, to bring them up to our level. And if that was in place, you'd see an awful lot of them progressing and be able to use their skills in a more effective way to give equality in the workplace then.
Following on from that, in terms of longevity and long-term, do you see the refugees that you've experienced with continuing on with those professions?
I think so, until training and education and more money put into the sector comes into place. I think they're kind of stagnant at the moment. They want to be earning a wage, to be fair. They want to give back into the economy, but they're kind of wearing blinkers. We'll just stick at this now for the time being. But I think, as I said to you there, if there was more emphasis on training and education, you'd see them progressing up into different areas of work and progressing up, I would say, in the type of work they're in at the moment.
So following on from that, that point that you were talking about there, what training do you think refugees need to improve their work and outcomes in the construction sector?
I'd say because they want to work and they want to be earning a living, I think we'd say part-time courses, we'd say run in the evening, say run in local colleges and that, or local or ETBs around the country. As I said to you, manual handling can be done in the evening. Safe Pass needs to be how we say, streamlined, that they can do it in a half a day rather than a full day, and that interpreters are available to assist them to get them across the line. Um, if they're bringing in, say, if they're electricians, that there's courses available tailored to bring their qualification, what they're bringing from their own country, that is brought up to the standard of Irish regulations. That if they're in it, even that they're able to keep working at the same time, it gives them confidence, it gets them out of a rut, and it keeps them progressing, that they're able to keep their lifestyles going while they're retraining.
The next question is just your own general opinion or view on this. How do you see the situation of refugees in the construction industry in the long term?
Well, for the next 5 years, Darren, I don't see much of a change. I see Ireland is a very welcoming country, and it's taken in over 100,000 of Ukrainians alone into the country, and a lot of them have brought their skills with them. I don't see it changing, so I think we need to invest in it and embrace it, and work with them. That it works both ways. That they're getting something back, and we're also getting something back. That there's progression. Like, we know that there's so many houses to be built in the next 10 to 15 years to bring the housing stock up to the levels that are needed for the amount of people living here. So we have to look to ourselves and the communities coming in, see what they need. Let's do training and needs analysis on them to see what we need to bring them up to standards. So I think the government have to take a long look at this and say, right, we have to invest in training and education for the continuity of these people working here.
Relating to that then, do you see any evolution, growth, development in the employment of, and the word they use here is immigrants in the construction sector?
I definitely do, because I see from our own construction business that the people aren't there on the ground to hire, and it's just such a pity that you can't take more of them on, because we need them. We have the work there in front of us, and the more they're trained, the more we'll be able to take them on. I think there's an evolution there that they want to participate in well as I'm moving forward to getting trained up, as in the immigrants.
Yeah. So the next question then again is relating to your own experience. What are your experiences regarding the integration of refugees into the construction sector?
Like a lot of the lads that have worked for us over the years would have worked in England and America and other European countries. So I see integration with not just Ukrainians, other nationalities. The fact that Ireland have gone away to work and have come back, I see they see the challenges, the barriers wouldn't be there as bad, because especially with the lads that have worked away, they're used to different cultures and different nationalities on building sites. So I see, over a period of time it will improve, but the big barriers aren't there what would have been there 10, 15 years ago.
What barriers have you experienced the refugees find in getting their skills recognized?
Well, especially for an example, we'd say Ukraine. If somebody was getting a ticket for a digger or a lorry in Ukraine, I'm only using it as a brief example, they'd be able to obtain it in 2 or 3 weeks. Whilst here it could go on for 2 to 3 months, because our courses are more intense and will stand up to how would I say it? Scrutiny. If anything went wrong, if there was an accident on site, but with say the Ukrainian tickets for driving dumper drivers, lorries or anything like that, they wouldn't go into the same depth knowledge or training as Irish courses would. So I think there has to be kind of a stepping stone or a training course that brings them up to standards. As I said in other questions earlier on, that is the key here. With language courses as well, they have to be put in place. When they're in place, you'll see an awful lot more integration in the building community with the Ukrainians and other nationalities.
And then, would you know of organizations who support skills recognition and that process?
Yeah, well, I'd know our local development company, Roscommon Leader Partnership, would be very much getting, we say, people from other countries, get them trained up, we say, in different courses like forklift training, safe pass, manual handling, bar work, basic English courses. There'd be very well run courses run by Roscommon Leader Partnership throughout the county.
And then this is a general question. Would you say that Ireland supports employment of refugees in professions where there is a shortage of workers in the construction sector?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And the reasons for that is this, number one, they're good workers. Number two, there's such a shortfall of skilled labour workers and unskilled labour. So we really need them at the moment.